don't ever accidentally put anything in the furnace. If you do, it's gone. Hello everyone, I am back with another video. I've made a few adjustments. I kind of missed hitting the record for a little bit, so now we can see the sun, and that is because of lens flares. So if you turn that off, you won't get the flare from the sun. Couldn't we get like some kind of shield to go over our helmet? I've gone out and did a little bit of mining. I also had to make an adjustment. I restarted, but I'm in pretty much the same position as I was before. I have just added the locker, and I've also got a few things out of the locker and got them ready. Oh, I've already installed that window, so we'll go over here. We're charging up our battery right now. Went out and I got a little bit more
Power low.
ores, a few more ores. I printed some iron sheets. And let me show you, see how there's, that covers up when I go from the inside to the outside. This is what they look like, so you'll know whether or not you have an iron sheet on there. It is, if you've got a leak when you seal everything up, it's probably because you don't have a window installed, is generally most of the time the reason why. Because they are so hard to spot as to whether or not you have a window installed. And when the only thing you get is these lines, when you're up close, you have to go through and inspect every one. You can also run along and see if you fall down. And if you do, actually, no, we're going to leave the roof open for a bit. We do want to be able to see in here. So I have the auto lathe, which you already saw. I got a bit more on the ore side. So now I want to print the electronics printer. That's going to require 20 iron, 2 gold, and 10 copper. Let's get a little bit of gold and some copper. Oh, that's not really going to work. Let's grab this bit of copper, and we'll grab this copper. Okay, and you also notice I've gone over the controls, so if you need to understand the controls, go to the previous video, and I have a key capture on screen. So electronics printer is 20 iron, 2 gold, 10 copper. Let's go ahead and print one of those up, and then let's see if we also want a pipe bender, which is going to cost another 20 iron, 2 gold, 10 copper, but I'm going to hold off on that. I just want the electronics printer, so we can start gathering just a bit more power. See, we are not gathering. Let's turn this off, save some of that power, and get this battery charged up. I've also installed the battery charger over here. So let's make sure this finishes. Once this is started, I do not want to interrupt the system by changing batteries, splicing into cables, or turning anything on or off. You will have to restart it. So let's just let it go. We also have a table. We'll need that in just a bit. So let's go grab the ore scanner. Not battery cell. Ground penetrating radar. Everyone says it's, we also need the ore scanner, and I believe the tablet is inside. Yes, I could be using the doors, but I like using windows. And we're going to hit R and open that up. And I believe that goes, yeah. We have our electronics printer. That's what I'm waiting on. So the electronics printer, I'm going to turn it, and I have the auto lathe here. I also had to make an adjustment. I'm now looking at the earth this way. Don't go through and rotate your home around. Just kind of make the adjustment as a mental note and turn everything within inside 90 degrees, or that is if you're following along 1-to-1, but you don't have to. It's still pretty much the same, just a little bit different orientation. And I should have left that one open, right? Yes, I can't get out now. The pain and suffering I shall have. So usually everybody puts this in from up top, but seeing as we have our wires down on the bottom, I'm going to have it go the other direction. Now, I'm going to turn that on. No, we're going to leave that off. That is using 10 watts of power. So we'll leave it off. And now I've got a battery charger inside the airlock, so no matter where I'm at, I will be able to grab a battery. We're just kind of waiting on power. This is not a good situation to be in with two low batteries. Let's go into our lockers. What are they called? And we're going to grab the battery out of these items. And we're going to make sure, I might want to adjust that just a little bit. Install our electronics printer. And we're going to get some more power for the morning. I want to still be able to walk through here, as that will be important. Although I think I probably could move it over one. I don't really necessarily need to actually walk through, but I need to reach through. Don't put those in there. They go in here. And I'm already missing a tool. And it is the welder. So I'm not sure where the welder's at. Might be in there. This is why it's a good habit to keep yourself organized. Okay, so I found the welder in my jumpsuit. And we need a couple of frames. We're going to print that. Let's grab 4 cables. And then we're going to swap out the sheets iron for plastic. And lastly, we need to use a screwdriver on it, get all the nuts and bolts tightened down. And in here, what we want to do, oh, look at that. See, we have, oh, it would help if I turned it back on. I want a solar panel. 10 iron, 2 gold, and 10 copper. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this, and then we're just going to turn this on and grab the copper out of that machine and turn this on. And you might actually do this quite a bit of swapping materials around in the beginning. A lot of people just do that all the time. I've seen people that have never split it up and supplied each machine individually. Okay, so I have 2 solar panels, and I'm printing another one. If you have the materials for it, you can print it. If you don't, that's okay. And we're going to kind of adjust this just a little bit. Oh, nope. Let's grab the drill, and we'll rotate that. And I'm adjusting this out just because I don't want the cables running through here. You see, I can't really get to them. As also, if I have something inside and I run it up against this wall, I could converge the line. Is that right? Merge the lines. And that could be a bad thing, having a supply going through the APC. It could supply and then loop, creating an electrical arc that will short wires out. Yes, that is simulated in here. And it is random. You never know where it's going to be. It could be hidden behind a wall. Could be right in front of you. It could also cause a fire to start. So you want to be careful with that. And we'll just take those out. Let's get rid of this. There we go. There, we are completely out of power. Let's get our glass in.
Power critical.
Now we just need the sun to get up at a decent enough angle. There is also the solid generator, so I know we're going to be needing that. 4 panels is a decent number to begin with, since we are turning things on and turning them off. Being a good person and not wasting energy. There it is, 47, 48, 50. So 53 times 4, it's 200 watts. It's enough to charge that battery a little bit. Is now that I have my generator installed, I went out and I got myself a little bit of coal. You only need about 10 or so pieces. It looks like I got 15, because what I'm going to do... No, I'm going to take that out and I'm going to split 1, 2, 3... I'm going to put that in there and I'm going to turn it on. We don't want to waste, because once everything is full, and now you see it's lit green, which means that's charging. This is charging. This is putting out 20 kilowatts. That's a lot of power for this line. Now, thankfully, I don't have everything using 20 kilowatts. So it just kind of disappears. You can, if you don't draw, it's like you take your house and you put everything on one breaker. But if you shut everything down and you only turn on one light, are you going to blow the breaker? You don't have to worry about it. So you shut that light down, you turn on the air conditioner. Well, you turn off the air conditioner and vice versa. There are fuses in the game, but you can separate networks so that with the APC, so only one little group of power consumers are on a network. All right, and we've also got another 10 watts, I believe, taking from here. So what do we want next? Well, I want the pipe bender. Let's scratch that. And we're going for the furnace. 30 iron and 10 copper. That still needs to smelt. So, I don't have any more iron. What I'm going to do is grab it out of here. I don't have any iron. Okay. That means we're going to have to... look at that. We got a blue battery. We got blue batteries. We always swap out the blue ones. Okay, I've got 30 iron. We are building the furnace. We have our 30 iron and 10 copper, and I'm going to let that run. I'm also going to come over here to the furnace, and I see I'm using quite a bit of power right now. Sorry, not the furnace. I'm going to come to the generator, and I'm going to throw one in there. It's going to give me just a little bit of a charge since the solar panels are now generating nothing. Okay, so I covered this in the last video, but I'm sorry I had it clipped. As you can see down here on the bottom right, it's 19 degrees. Earth is at 0 from your spawn point, so it's a little bit off now. So I came out at 236, so if I subtract 80, that gives me 150, or sorry, yeah, 150, and then subtract another 100, so about 50. I should be able to go back. Let's turn everything off. Let's close it all down. I should be able to see somewhere around here. There it is. You can kind of see the little batteries and the machines that are lit. You can see those things from a pretty good distance. So I went out at 1 something or another. You got to do quick math or get a calculator. So that's how you can get lost. I could have just been running off in one direction and not knowing how to get back. Oh, good. But thankfully my machines were on, even though they should be off. So here we have our furnace built. I still need a little bit of copper. I'm going to bring this out. We're going to place that guy there. That still needs to get a bit of a charge. Let's shut this off. We got 39 copper and we got 30 here. So there's 60 copper. That's a decent amount. We just need some power. So while we're waiting, I'm going to grab what we're going to need here is the iron sheets and the furnace. Let's put this away and swap these out. Oh, wait. Alright, let's put this away. So now how do we want to set up, if I can get this put away, the furnace? Now, you can see at the top, there's an input and there's an output on the bottom. That's your ores and your ingots. On the back side, you can see there's 3 ports. One for water, a gas in, and a gas out. We don't need to worry about all of those right now. It's just the gas out. So if I set it here, I will not be able to easily put my ores in. Here, the ores may go through the frame. So I want to raise it up one, but trying to get those ores in, you're going to have to be doing some jumping or some acrobatics, or use your jetpack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit end, or I could use home and go the other way, and I want it on its side. Where do I want it? That's kind of basically up to you. So I'm kind of liking, I'm looking at expanding out this way, so I don't want to go there. Over here, it's pretty much locked down what I can do. I can't really expand in this direction, so we're just going to set it right here. And I'm going to bring it up one. I'm going to place it there. I'll grab any tool, and it's going to deconstruct with the crowbar, so we don't want that one. Let's try the wire clippers. It says wrench and 2 iron sheets required to continue. Let's grab the wrench. And now we need the welding torch. Kind of feel like that's backwards. And then the angle grinder to deconstruct. So that's basically done there. So now I've got an input. I've got an exhaust. I can read the pressure, temperature. This is kind of like your igniter to ignite a little spark. Put your gases in. And this is to drop your ores out the bottom. So, and then we have output, input, and water. You see the difference? That's how you remember. That one's for water pipes. Now, you can melt your ices in there, but I generally don't. I just go get a separate ice crusher. So now what we want, some pipes and a pipe valve. And we're going to place one on the output. And then we're going to place a valve. I'm going to press end. Then we're going to turn this down. Go with the straight. And I'm going to bring this away from the furnace. This way. Now, so as far as placing items, it's probably better to show you with a wall. Okay, so you can use your normal home button and end and rotate around this way. The same thing goes for pipes. I can rotate this around, I can rotate it this way, but it gets kind of confusing. It takes a while to get used to it. But what if I only have, I just want to connect to that pipe. I'm going to hit C, and it's going to lock to that position. I can hit it as many times as I want. Even in different configurations, it'll rotate around, but it'll always be connected to that pipe. Let's put the tablet away. Let's grab... Okay, so now we need another print. So this time we need the pipe, hydraulic pipe bender. We need some iron, and we need 10 copper. We need 20 iron, 2 gold, and 20 copper. And I can look at these green panels and it tells me what's in there. There is no copper in there. There's some gold, so I need to smelt up a little bit more gold. Let's just grab some out of here. I'm going to change that, and while that's working, let's go cover the ground penetrating radar while it's daylight. I'm going to need my tablet. I'm also going to need the ore scanner, battery. I'm going to need the ground penetrating radar and the battery cell small. And we're going to go around and we're going to look for more copper. Okay, so you do not need to have it out on the ground. You can have it here, but you cannot start it while it's in your backpack. So I'm going to swap this out. Alright. Now I'm going to have my little orange on the GPR, and I'm going to scroll to the tablet so I can easily swap them. I'm going to activate here, or you can also make sure to turn it on. You can scan here, or you can scan here with this activate button. Then I want to swap to my tablet, and you notice there's ores. Now sometimes you'll see no radar selected. Even though you activate, it still says no radar selected. What you need to do is use the scroll wheel, and then you'll see the radar selected. It's not broke, it's not a bug. You just need to find the channel. Now I can see that there's a bunch of gold in this area, or it could be coal. We don't want the coal, we just want the gold. So you can know whether or not you're completely, that's going to be coal there. So you'll know when you're completely mined out a node how big it is, how far it travels. And you can see that gold travels all the way down to here. That is a pretty big node. Let's go up so you can see everything. And that red dot is where the GPR was activated. And there is a bit of a distance on it. As you get farther away, you see it will fade out. There are ores underneath here. If we switch, let's make sure we get far enough away. Yeah, see, it turns into snow. We activate it, then we'll put it in, and you can see there's some ores over here. Now let's try to activate it from here. You see it will not, there we go. Activate from here. You see it did not activate it. I have to actually have it in the open to activate it. There's a little bit of iron. Now there are upgrades to it. There's a color scanner, which will scan iron and copper together are red, or something similar to that. There's different colors represent groups of 2 or 3 different ores. There are also an upgraded glasses, which literally tells you 1-to-1, this is what's here, here's the nodes, and it's very accurate. It's just kind of hard to see as the opacity is not adjustable. And you notice it's using quite a bit of power each time, 5%, but that's a little, it's different each time. It's not exactly 5%. If I use it again, it's going to use 6%, then 5 and 6, so it's probably 5.5% every time. And you can wear that battery down fairly quickly without paying attention. You don't use it that often, so you don't really think about recharging it. So now, before it's dark, what I'm going to do is, you see I've already got some oxide, so I'm going to come over here and we're going to get some volatiles. And I also want at least it's a 3-to-1 ratio on iron to coal to make steel, but most people just do 150, and that's because it's easy math. You need 3 different slots of iron and 1 slot of coal. So if you max them out, you know you're good on the math. Okay, here is a good example of why to keep your inventory empty. As you can see, it just kind of falls anywhere and everywhere. So what I need to do is take this iron and move it up out of the way. Where'd that coal go? There we go. And yes, you can drill straight from chunks floating around. But always keep your inventory empty. And remember, you've got a jetpack here. You've got empty slots. Those ores can fit anywhere. That used up 3 coal. Alright, so where is the sun? So the sun is coming up on this side. The coal furnace. So as you can see, it's processing. It's stuck. It won't do anything. We're going to drop that out the other side. Basically, the furnace is not warm enough to process any ores. Let's not throw our things on the ground. So what we need to do is, we're kind of going to do a little bit of preheat. We're going to split 1 volatile. We're also going to have these oxides here. And we're going to split 1. And then we need to ignite for the atmos analyzer. So as you can see, there's nothing in the furnace. We split our 1 volatile, which is basically more like hydrogen. And you can see now it's turning into a gas. And it's cooling down. That's the entire furnace. It's 20 moles of volatile per ice. We're going to drop in 1 oxide. Now that, remember, it's cold in there. It's not going to unfreeze. So we need, and now you can see we're creating CO2. We're creating creating X. We're creating nitrogen. That comes from the oxide, and we've got some oxide and volatiles burning up those volatiles. We want, so now we're at 900 degrees. Okay. That's a good pressure and good temperature. However, we're going to come in here and we're going to pause. So we've got our ores. These are all your different type of ores, even including biomass. These are items that are mined and can often be smelted. You can also get mixed ore by recycling items in the recycler, passing it through the centrifuge, which will break into ores for smelting. There are some ores that will melt when exposed in sunlight, like ice. Be careful to keep those out of the heat or sunlight. That's why we do this at night. Alright, so now our ingots. We want the basic ingots. Our copper. Things we want to note. Pressure between 100 kilopascals to 100 megapascals. Temperature 600 Kelvin or 326 Celsius. Everything in the game, as far as the code goes, it converts into Kelvin. That comes into importance later. So basically up to any pressure and any temperature, but our minimum temperature is 600. That's when we want to watch out for. It takes 500 energy to smelt 1 copper. The furnace tier 1 and the advanced furnace are the same. We're going to focus on the furnace tier 1. We want iron, 100 kilopascals, 800 Kelvin. It takes 200 energy. So these are good to note. You can know which ones you want to throw in the arc furnace and which ones to throw in the actual furnace. Nickel, 100 to 100, 800 Kelvin. Silver, 600 Kelvin. 100 to 100, that one's fine. Silicone, 900 Kelvin. So when you heat up the furnace, you want to throw in your, if you've got silicone, throw it in there first. Lead is a nice low temperature. It can be your last one. And gold is another 600. So we're also going to grab steel out of this. A steel alloy. We need 900 Kelvin, at least 1 MPa to 100. You see 0.75 carbon iron to 0.25 carbon. Now, if we watch, see the temperature slowly going down, but if I throw in the iron, you see how quickly it drops, and that's why we only put 1 in there at a time. We've got our pressure. We just need our temperature now. Remember, it was, what was it, 900? Let's find our other iron. And the sun is out, so we're going to have a tough time. And now we can look at the screen and see 150 iron. What we're going to do is throw in that 50 coal. And now that should smelt for us. We're at a good pressure. We're just at a low temperature. So what we're going to have to do is be really quick in throwing this in, right? Because we want to split off only about 5-7 of these. But we can't do that in the sun. What happens if we do that in the sun? Well, it's just going to kind of go away. Took a second, but the sun is still rising. Remember, shadows count. And I'm in a shadow. Now what I can do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to stand in the shade. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 oxide and put that in there. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go one more volatile. We'll go 8. 8 to 4. That's a 2 to 1 ratio. Always remember 2 to 1. So now I've got my ices separated. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to Alt and drag them straight in. And you notice how it just automatically goes up. And then I'm going to drop in my ice. And then we're going to heat up. We're at temperature, and if we look, there's our steel. Now I'm going to leave that lever open. Remember, I'm going to throw in my silicone. I'm going to throw in my gold. And I'm going to throw in the iron. And I'm going to put this away. I'm going to throw all this into my inventory. I'm going to come over here. And watch it go down. And there are all of our ores smelted up without using any electricity. So if this helped, let me know down in the comments, give it a like, and we'll probably be taking the next step of getting an atmosphere in here, pressurizing, and upgrading to a couple new things now that we have steel. Thanks for watching.